Okay, so I want to welcome you guys to my second JDM reel review. Now, if you've been a subscriber or even new to my channel, you've seen that it's very Shimano or DAIWA heavy. Honestly, it's because those are the only reels that I have. Now, I did get this reel a couple of weeks ago. There is a backstory about that, but I wanted to throw in a different brand into the mix, and hopefully I'll be doing a lot more of that in the future. Now, as you can see, this reel is probably the prettiest reel that I've ever seen. This is the Abu Garcia Revo Elite 64 Limited. Actually, it's called the Revo Elite Aurora 64 Limited. Now 64 means it's got a 6.4 to 1 gear ratio, which is kind of an all-purpose gear ratio. Now, before we go into the features, I wanted to give you guys a little insight into ordering reels from Japan. Now, I initially ordered this reel, I believe back in March, early March, and I got it within a week, but there was something wrong with it. I won't go into what was wrong with it, but in any event, I had to send it back to the Japanese supplier, and in turn, they had to send it to Abu Garcia to have it inspected. Now, I actually had to pay the shipping cost back, and I just finally received a brand new one a couple of weeks ago in early July. So ordering from Japan, sometimes it sucks if you get a product that you are dissatisfied with the quality, or if it's broken or defective, you got to send it back. Now they are very good about working with you on exchanges and whatnot, but that's just one of the things that could happen to you if you do order from Japan. Now, first thing you notice about this reel, of course, is the titanium nitride coating. Now it gives it a very rainbow finish. Now, it's very hard to scratch. It's got laser etching. As you can see there, Revo Elite. It's got some kind of there's some more laser etching there. It's got some kind of Japanese fisherman's, I guess this is the guy that tuned it. I don't know how to say his name. But because it has the titanium coating, this reel does have a full aluminum body and side plates, according to what Abu Garcia says. Now, this reel is a product of when a manufacturer works in conjunction with a reel tuner. This reel was tuned with parts from a very famous JDM tuning company called ZPI. ZPI makes upgraded bearings, spools, handles, knobs, all sorts of dress-up parts and tuning parts for Revos and Shimanos, and recently they started making things for DAIWA, which is very exciting for DAIWA fans. Now, let me go over the tuning parts, I should say. The first part that's tuned are the knobs. Now, these are called BFC soft touch knobs. They have this rubberized feel, this coating that's very soft to the touch, and also very grippy when wet. You can actually buy these from ZPI separately, and they'll come with different end caps. Now, this carbon fiber handle is not ZPI, but it is carbon fiber, and it actually comes with what Abu Garcia calls BFXT bearings. And let me open up the side plates and pop the spool out, and we'll see what it weighs. Okay, so I opened up the side plate and I popped the spool out. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you about the bearings is that they're open-faced. Now Abu Garcia says this is their own bearing, but I believe these are probably just ZPI bearings rebranded as Abu Garcia. And they are open-faced. It's a bearing on the spool too. Alright, so now we got the spool out, and you can see that this has a short spool shaft. Very much like DAIWA's free-floating spool. Now Abu Garcia calls theirs the Infinity spool. So now we put it on the scale, and we see that the spool is really light, only 10.3 grams. And that's including a bearing. So if we pulled the bearing off, the rotational mass is probably going to be only about 9.5 grams. Probably because the spool is so heavily ported. And ported on the inside, as you can see. And it's very shallow, so it's not going to hold a lot of line. So this reel should cast very well. Now, the braking system is called the MagTrax. I like to refer this as the ZPI style magnet brakes. You'll see this on reels like the Revo S, the Revo SX, and probably some LEWS, probably some Quantums or whatnot. Now the difference between this and regular MagTrax is the magnets. Now Abu Garcia says these are what they call neodymium magnets. Now I did some research on Google as to what makes neodymium magnets special. Apparently, ounce for ounce or pound for pound, these provide a more powerful magnetic field versus a regular magnet. So you can actually get away with using a smaller magnet to save weight. Now you count 7 magnets here, but in all actuality there are 14. I don't know if you can see, there's 2 stacked in each one of these holes. In fact, let me see if I can pull one out to show you guys. Okay, so I found a screwdriver. I'm going to see if I can pop one of these magnet stacks out. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, there's actually 2 magnets, one stacked on top of the other. I can actually pull them apart. There we go. These are what they call neodymium magnets. And they are very strong. I put these back into the side plate here. Now this is what I call I like to refer to as a static magnetic braking system. Meaning when you adjust the side plate here, there's 28 clicks. And it moves these magnets closer or further away from this plate. So when the spool is rotating, the position stays the same, unlike the DAIWA MagForce Z, where the rotor comes in and out depending on the speed of the rotor. So let's see how this plays out. Okay, so now that we know that the spool is extremely light for a general purpose bass reel and it's got upgraded bearings, this reel probably has a very good chance of beating its competitor in the 1/4 ounce casting plug distance stakes. Now what I mean by competitor, when this reel came out, it was priced right in line with the SHIMANO METANIUM MGL. which is currently the 1/4 ounce distance king by a long shot. It's I believe it averaged 166 feet, which beat out the next nearest rival by over 10 feet, if I'm not mistaken. So on paper, with the much lighter spool and the upgraded bearings, this reel should be able to cast that 1/4 ounce plug very far and probably beat out the METANIUM MGL. But there's only one way to find out, of course. So I'm going to get it out in the field tomorrow, record the results, and get back to you. Okay, so we're out here with the Revo Elite Aurora. Such a pretty reel. I have the spool tension set to just remove the side-to-side play, so it's a pretty fast fall. I have the external brakes set to almost to the middle. Now Abu doesn't put any numbers, but here's the maximum, here's minimum, and the brakes are set here, and I have all the magnets on inside. So here we go. $150 and 5 inches. $144, 5 inches. $156, 4 inches. $152, 1 inch. $149, 6 inches. Okay, so I am back from the casting field, testing out the Revo Elite Aurora Limited, and I guess I am having mixed emotions about the results. On one hand, the Elite averaged over 50 yards a cast with the 1/4 ounce plug, which is actually very good. But on the other hand, with all the on paper advantages, like the upgraded bearings on the spool, the really light and shallow spool itself, the Revo still got smoked by the METANIUM MGL by an average of about 16 feet. But On the other hand, there's only 4 reels that have outcasted the Revo. That would be, of course, the METANIUM MGL, the 2013 METANIUM, the CASITAS MGL, and the Scorpion DC. Now, the good news is that the Revo outcasted a bunch of other stalwart reels. Reels like the CHRONARCH MGL, it beat that. It beat out the CHRONARCH CI4. It beat out the CURADO 200i. It beat the CURADO 70. It beat both all 3 TATULAs that I have. So I guess I am pleased with the performance. But at the cost, I wish it would have cast a little farther. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the spool and weigh it filled with line and go over why I think it did not beat out the METANIUM MGL. Okay, I got the side plate off, and I'm going to weigh this spool with line to see how much weight it gained. Now, the spool without line, I believe, was 10.37 grams. And filled with line, you're looking at 15.4 grams. So almost a 5 gram increase in weight. Now, if you saw the first couple of casts, I almost spooled all the line off. The reel is very shallow. I'm sure this thing probably handles light bass really, really good, probably almost to BFS levels. Now, the main 2 reasons I think it didn't beat out the MGL. The first thing is I believe this spool is smaller in diameter. It looks to be either 32 or 33 millimeter, and that's the reason why I have these other spools pulled out. Now, this is a 32 millimeter spool, this is a 33 millimeter spool, and this is a 34. Now, I don't have a digital micrometer, so I can't really measure, and I couldn't find the info online, so I'm going to compare to see how big this spool is. Okay. In hand, it looks like this is smaller than this. Looks like the Scorpion 70 spool is smaller. So we know that it's not 32 millimeters. And let's see the TATULA SV. Okay, the TATULA SV is 33 millimeter, and it looks, at least in my eyes, to be about the same. So let's pull out the METANIUM spool, which is 34 millimeter. Yeah, I can clearly see that the METANIUM spool is bigger. So I think this is a 33 millimeter spool. And of course, smaller spools tend to cast shorter because it takes more revolutions to go the same distance. And another thing, probably the biggest, or at least the equal contribution, is of course the magnet brakes. Now generally, it's acknowledged that most centrifugal brake systems distance cast very well versus magnetic, at least when it comes down to just regular bass lures. Now, you can play around with the magnet configuration, so I believe there's probably a little bit more distance to be had by playing around with the magnets, but it's kind of inconvenient out in the field or even on the water to remove magnets and switch the configurations around, and where you're going to store your magnets once you've removed them. Now, it's got 28 adjustments on the side. If I did play around with the magnets, I'm sure I could have got a few more feet, but there's no way it would have made up 16 feet, at least in my opinion. So, a couple of things I wanted to go over is I wanted to retouch on buying reels and tackle from Japan. Now, most of my reels I do get from Japan. And I've had, before this reel, I've had 0 issues. I've ordered a lot of Shimanos from Japan. I've ordered rods and whatnot. I've never had an issue except with this one. So I don't want to discourage anybody from ordering reels from Japan, because 99.9% of the time it's a flawless, awesome transaction and you have nothing to worry about. Now, of course, this had some quality control issues that I didn't find to be acceptable, so I had to send it back. And of course, you know, they took care of me. So do not be afraid of buying from Japan. This is just this one time with this reel. And I'm glad I waited, because the reel is so gorgeous. I forgot to tell you guys, it's got a clicking drag, as you can see. So I know a lot of haters are going to hate this, but I am going to box this reel up and just save it as a collector's piece. I'm not going to fish it. In my eyes, it is too pretty to fish. I don't want to get it marked up. And I do believe, unfortunately, this reel, I think, is discontinued. I believe the manufacturer told me that, the supplier told me that they don't make these anymore. So if you see them online and you want one, you better grab it up. I don't know if I'll pick up another one or not, but all right, guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks a lot.